Can anybody find me? Can you feel? Can't touch this. We can work it out. Can live. Can you see what I did there? Let's chat about that. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today, as you might have guessed from that introduction, we're going to be talking a little bit about can and other ways to talk about ability. One of our subscribers, this person right here, asked us to make a video to talk about ability, and we love to deliver for you. So here's that. We're going to talk about how we talk about ability in English using different verbs and different ways. So in order to make it a bit easier for you to understand the rest of the video, I'm going to tell you a short story about myself today, a little bit of a story time with Brian. And I would like you to notice how I use the words or phrases behind me during the story. Okay, I want you to notice the different ways that I use them. And then afterwards we'll talk a bit about it. So as you heard at the introduction of the video, I can sing pretty well. I think I can. Well, a lot of people have told me that I have a pretty good voice, and I tend to agree with them. Do you? I know, if you don't, just let me know in the comments below. From a very young age, I've always been able to listen to a song on the TV or the radio and sing along. In fact, there were some events where I also sang in front of my family and stuff like that. Yeah, it was something that I think that I was born with. You know, some people are born with the ability to listen to a piece of music and sing along. Anyways, when I was young, I could also make quite a lot of different instrument noises with my mouth. I could make a piano sound, I could make a violin sound, a trumpet sound, like that. And I think that I sometimes used to get a bit too excited about that. And my mother was not always very pleased about that, to be honest with you. But with that being said, I have never managed to learn how to play the piano. I've tried, you know, I tried to take some lessons, but it's something that I find quite difficult because I can't get my hands to coordinate properly. But with that being said, I would love to be able to do that, you know. I would love to be able to, you know, sing and also accompany myself at the same time on the piano. What do you think about that? Should I give it a shot? Should I try it out? Let me know. So I hope you are listening quite well, because then you would understand what I've written behind me. These are some of the examples that I gave in my story, okay? So first things first, I'm using three forms here: can and could, be able to, manage to. First things first, can and could. What type of verbs are can and could? Can and could are modal verbs, and therefore they follow all the rules that normal modal verbs do. They always take an infinitive, okay, and the negative is made by adding not. So can't, couldn't, all right? Really, really easy. Now, let's look at why I used can here. I used can to talk about general ability. You can think of can as your go-to verb to talk about things that you know how to do, okay? For example, I can cook pasta very well, okay? Or I can play tennis, okay? Or when I was young, I could play the trumpet. But of course now I can't, because I have not practiced in many, many years. Think about can as a bit like your bread and butter when you're talking about ability. Because we use it for general ability, it is quite common that we do use could, for example, to talk about our past ability, because it also sounds more natural. So for example, I could make instrument sounds with my mouth, not I was able to make instrument sounds with my mouth. It sounds kind of natural and easy to say. So why do I use be able to? As you can see, even by looking at these two examples that I used in my story, be able to is much more versatile as a structure because it can be adapted to fit any different tense that you want it to. For example, here, I'm using it with the present perfect. I've always been able to listen to a song and sing along to it. Okay? Here, I'd love to be able to play the piano and sing along. So, what we are seeing here are two things. First of all, it's a very versatile structure, but also, rather than referring to a general ability, it refers to something quite specific. And that is why I can use be able to. Manage to. Why did I use manage to here? I've never managed to learn the piano. The reason why I've used manage to here is because I'm simply talking about something that is difficult to do. And when a situation is difficult, in order to show that we have achieved it or haven't achieved it, we like to use something like manage to. Can and could, be able to, manage to. Yeah, I know, I've opened Pandora's box here because we're probably getting really confused at this point. Don't worry, I've got you covered. So I want to talk to you a bit about when we would use one but not the other. And I'm going to start with can again. Okay, I'd like to go in order again. So think of passive situations. For example, it can be done. Like you can do it, it can be done. When we use the passive, we tend to use can or could. And if you would like a little bit of information about the passive, or maybe if you need to brush up on your knowledge of the passive, you can find the link for that video that we did a while ago in the description box below. So check that out. Okay? So when we talk about the passive, use can. I can also use can, or maybe more often I can use could, to talk about an ability in the past that I had but didn't use. For example, I could have gone to the party. I could have gone to the party, but I stayed inside instead. So we use could with have and the participle could have gone to show an ability that we did not use. So could have, I could have done something. Like I could have learned the flute when I was young, but I didn't like the instrument very much, so I never learned the flute. Be able to. How versatile is this structure? I was thinking about this the other day, and I realized that we can use be able to in so many different ways, and throughout the day I was actually listening and getting some examples of how I can use this in so many different ways. The reason is simple. Be able to, as I said earlier, is not a modal verb and therefore is a lot more flexible. I can use it by changing the verb to be, for example, to the past form was or were. And I might say something like, I'm sorry I wasn't able to come because my car stopped. But notice how I can also say, I'm sorry I couldn't come because my car stopped. Do you notice how be able to is a little bit more formal sounding? And this is a great way to use be able to because it is a little bit more formal. I can combine it with other verbs, other modal verbs, like will. By the end of this video, you will be able to understand these three structures a bit better. With should. Like, by the end of this video, you should be able to use these by yourself. Finally, I can also use it to talk about the past to indicate a past habit, using used to. I used to be able to stand on my head. I used to be able to stand on my head, something I definitely can't do at this moment. Finally, let's look at manage to. Once again, not a modal verb. It's just a normal verb, to manage, but we use it with to, manage to. Once again, it's so versatile. You can use it with so many different tenses and other modal verbs because it just gives you that possibility. Let me give you an example. For example, let's say I broke my phone. for example, and I broke it pretty badly, right? It broke and it's beyond the point of repair. So I took it to the repair store, and they called me after a few days and they tell me, we didn't manage to fix your phone, okay? Which means your phone is kaput, okay? Notice how in this case, I can also say that we couldn't fix your phone, but I am using we didn't manage to fix your phone in the past tense to highlight, to show that it's a very difficult thing that they didn't manage to do. Keep in mind, you can also use it to talk about something difficult that you did successfully do. For example, I studied a lot and I managed to pass my exams with flying colors. What a nice idiom, with flying colors. Idioms. Do let us know if you want us to make a video on idioms. I love idioms. Do you? You can also use managed to with the present perfect. For example, I've managed to finish all of my work for today. I had a lot of it. It was difficult, but I've managed to finish all of it. So look at how beautiful this is to talk about those difficult situations. What is something difficult for you? What maybe was a difficult situation in your life that you managed to get through, that you managed to do? Let us know. Challenge of the day. Here's your challenge for today. 3 sentences in the comments below. 1 sentence with can or could. 1 sentence with be able to. Any form of be able to. We learned quite a lot today. And 1 sentence with managed to. Leave those in the comments below. Try to think of examples from your own personal lives. That way it makes it a bit more interesting for you and you learn more. If you have any questions or queries or things you did not understand, just let us know in the comments below. We'll always be happy to reply. Once again, thank you to this subscriber down below who left us this idea for the video for today. Thank you so much. As always, if you've liked our video, give us a thumbs up, share us with all your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more brilliant videos like this one. Don't forget to hit the notification bell if you want to be notified as soon as we release a new video. I hope that you were able to learn something with us today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much. That's been me, Brian. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.